Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Steins Gate 0, episode 17. Yes, we're still only doing one episode at a time for the moment. And that's mainly just because of time and everything. I have to record Inuyashiki and something else today. Yeah, and it's just, things have been getting like really behind lately. Are you looking at my fingers? They've been getting really behind lately, and I do apologize for that, especially with Steins Gate. But hopefully we'll start getting things picked up soon. But yeah, so last episode we had Mayuri crying and kind of reveal her feelings to Okabe. There's a lot still going on, and I think they really need to start focusing though more on Kaguri. Less so on the entire thing with the romances and all. Now, the series just ended in the Japanese. I do know that. I know the series just ended, so we have to do some catching up now. And I am excited to do so. But, as I said, today we can only do one. Maybe next week it'll be different. I don't know. The problem with Wednesdays is I do leave for the Bible study. So, yeah. Stupid hair sticking out on the end. But yeah, I'm really thinking they have to start really getting into more of the Kaguri stuff, finding out what's going on with her, who is brainwashing her, stuff like that. But I'm excited to find out what we got for this episode. I know nothing going in, so let's just get this started. Ugh. Excuse me. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, those of you who watched the pre-thoughts and all, after seeing the title and all, you probably were a bit confused right away. You were probably thinking like, wait, the title says this is 17 through 19, but she said only episode 17. In fact, she said that the reason for this was because of time and having to do some other stuff today and all. And you're right, I did say that, but there are times, and this has happened before, where you get so into something you just can't stop. And this is one of those occasions for sure. After episode 17, with the way it ended, I could not just leave it there. I couldn't just leave it there. I couldn't wait to get into more. And then after episode 18, the same thing. I needed to see more. And I would have continued, as I said at the end of the reaction, I would have continued to episode 20, but I don't have it downloaded. I had episodes 17, 18, and 19 already downloaded. And I've had them downloaded for a while. It's just, you know, I've been getting to them one episode at a time lately. But I guess that curse is broken. How many episodes are there total? I'm not actually sure. I feel like I look this up every time. But yeah, I just had to keep going. Because it's just like, I could not bring myself to stop at any point. There are 23 episodes, so that means there's 4 episodes left. And let me check something. Let me see how many are out in the dub. I know episode 23 just recently came out in the sub. But let's see how many are actually out dubbed. Okay, so far there's only 20 that are released in the dub. The most recent one was released on the 24th, so this past Monday. So they're released every Monday, meaning that next week I could do both 20 and 21 and be fully caught up, basically, which I might just do. This is definitely the climax of the series for just this story. Everything is coming to a head. Everything's starting to be made clear. Everything with Amadeus, with Leskinen, and with Kaguri. These were the big storylines of this series. Amadeus was brought in like pretty much right from the start, and the big storyline regarding that was with Maho, her connection to Kurisu, and how that all came to a head with the Amadeus system. Now, when it eventually was like taken out of the story for a bit, my initial thoughts were that, okay, this is going to be brought back at some point in some big way, because they're not just going to take it out randomly like that. They're not just going to cut out what has up to this point been the big part of the story. They're just moving on to another arc, and they were. But they also had that focus early on of Kaguri, and then when Kaguri disappeared and everything, that was, I wouldn't say completely put on the back burner, but it was definitely slowed down. And so that also gave me the same feeling, like this is going to be brought back in the end. But then there's the entire thing with Leskinen, and this is something I thought from very early on. Not like the first couple appearances we saw him, but I did think very early on that something was off. Just the way he acted, the way he spoke, something was very off about him. And I feel like it almost felt like he was putting on an act. And as we now know, he was. I just felt like maybe he was the bad guy. And then, when we found out that there was this professor or doctor or whatnot in the future who was directly connected to Kaguri, my mind instantly turned to him. And I believe I actually mentioned it at that point. My mind thought of, like, could that be Leskinen? Could he possibly have been behind this all? And I'll admit, my theory on that had kind of faded a little bit in more recent episodes, but it came to a head and I was proven right. The scientist from the future who was directly connected with Kaguri was Leskinen. He had sent her into the past with Suzuha. Well, he probably like brought up the idea and everything, and Suzuha kind of went along with it. But she went into the past with Suzuha on his orders, basically, to find his past self. And to basically get everything going. Now, they were originally to go back to a certain time. And God's voice in her head, which was Leskinen, mind-controlling her, made her react the way she did to Suzuha's plans to change everything. And when she left those, 12, 15 years ago, something like that, that's where she had been all this time. She sought out Leskinen, told him what was going on, and had been basically with him the entire time. Then, somehow, she was found passed out in, I think it was in front of the train station or something? Something like that. And she was discovered by Ruka's family. And we know what happened from there. She was with them for a little bit, but then just kind of disappeared after the brainwashing kicked in again. Notably, at this point, it was from the modern-day Leskinen. And she appeared a couple times after that, I believe, in her in the suit as the brainwashed assassin version of herself. And now she's made her return. And at first, she's brainwashed still, but then when she sees her mother, Mayuri, getting attacked, it snaps her out of it and she's able to fight back. But it does end up costing her her life in the end. Even though she fights through that really, really well. There is still one big question with Kaguri. I don't know if it's going to be answered, but I hope it is. Why does she look so much like Kurisu? I have a few theories, and I really started thinking about this again because Rarity Dash is doing his reactions to Steins Gate Zero now, and it was mentioned in there that, yeah, she does, and I was reminded that it is mentioned directly in the show that she does bear a resemblance to Kurisu. They made a point of saying that, and I don't think that was accidental. Steins Gate has this habit of bringing up these little things that end up being important later on. And I think that might have been one of them. So my theories are that either somehow she's related to Kurisu, which is a long shot, but is a possibility, I guess. Somehow she's related to Kurisu, or the second option I feel is that she's a clone. That she is a clone of Kurisu's DNA. Somehow gotten. And that her, just in general, being placed into Mayuri's care was not an accident. If she's a clone of Kurisu, I do believe that someone organized all of that. And it could be Okabe, it could be Daru, it could be anyone for all we know. I don't think it's Mayuri, because that one, I don't know, I don't think it's her. But that is a possibility, I'm thinking. Now, I could be proven completely wrong, but it is a possibility. So this was, as I said, the big climax of the series, and it focused around the attempted destruction of the time machine from this American organization. And from what Leskinen was saying, it almost seems like they want to start this war. Like they understand what will happen, and they're good with it. That's almost seemed like what he was saying. Which is really disturbing. And I'm wondering where that's going. But what is clear here is that in order to do all of this, they need to destroy the time machine. Now, we do not actually know if the time machine was actually destroyed and Suzuha and Mayuri killed. We don't actually know that. We're assuming it was. Because here's the thing, even though there was like a couple scraps, those could have, like, the time machine might have been hit but still traveled back. Which means it could have only been slightly hit. And they could have still made it back. Because there was no civilian bodies found in the wreckage, only the soldiers. Which means that Mayuri and Suzuha's bodies were not there, and there was no sign of any bodies there. Which means that either they made it back, or they would have had to have been basically disintegrated. And all evidence of them being there would have had to have been disintegrated. Which I just don't see happening. Even if their bodies were just completely destroyed, there would still be something there, I feel. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't feel like there's enough evidence to say that they were dead. Even with Okabe's current constant insistence on going back in time again and again to make this right, which is definitely in his character, as we saw from the original Steins Gate. Although his insistence on this and believing that they might be dead, that's the thing. They might be. But here's the thing I'm also wondering. If they made it into the past, wouldn't they have been able, they'd still be there in the future, right? And they'd still be able to relay a message or something to him, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Again, we have 4 episodes left to close this out. And it's going to be one hell of a finale, I can tell you that. This series, when I first heard about it, when I first heard that this was being made into an anime, I was excited. I was really excited. I know there's some people out there who were nervous because it's been so long and all. I think Rarity Dash was one of them, that he had his reservations because I believe he said he considered Steins Gate basically the closest to perfection you could get with an anime. It's his favorite anime. And I can understand that, even though I think it's not as perfect as he thinks. I think that my thoughts were like, I still am excited for this. I loved Steins Gate, but I'm excited that they're continuing the story with this alternate timeline and where Kurisu is not saved. And I want to see exactly where this goes and what kind of new stuff they'll do with it. And when I started to watch it, I'm like, okay, this is good, this is interesting. But could it ever be better than the original Steins Gate? And at this point, I'm inclined to say it could be. And I'm saying could be. Because at this point, I'm not sure. I'm just legitimately unsure. Because we still have 4 more episodes to go, and I think that the ending, while I have always been one to argue that the ending is not paramount, that a good show can still be good no matter how bad the ending is. And I still say, even if this ending is bad, the show's going to still be amazing. But I do say that the way this ends will determine whether or not it's just amazing or better than the original. Because this very well could be. And there's a few big reasons why I really like this and why I think it could definitely surpass the original. One of which is that it feels a little less repetitive. The original series had a lot more repetition with Okabe's struggle to save Mayuri, and it just felt like it was a little, like they pushed it a little too far with it. But this one, even though there's some repetition in there for sure, it's definitely not as much. Another big thing is the characters. I feel that the characters, while they were great in the original Steins Gate, they're done better here. And that's the funny thing. Some people might say, "Oh, but Okabe's not Haoi and Kiyoma in this," and it's like, honestly, the way they did that is amazing. Not just that he's not Haoi and Kiyoma, because I'll be honest, I enjoyed Haoi and Kiyoma. But the way they handled him in this series, with his post-traumatic stress and his depression and everything, and the fact that he's not Kiyoma, and why he's not Kiyoma, that is what makes it so good. That is why the absence of Kiyoma in this series is so damn good. Because of how it's handled. Because of how it's written, and the reasons why he's not Kiyoma anymore. And then we have a new leading female character with Maho Hiajo, who, I'm sorry, some will disagree with me. In fact, most will probably disagree with me. She's a much better character than Kurisu. Yeah, stirring the pot here. I'll be honest, I was never the biggest fan of Kurisu. I didn't hate her. I think I mentioned this in the Steins Gate movie reaction, too. I never hated Kurisu or anything. I just never really... I never really understood the unwavering love. And it's like that for a lot of characters in a lot of shows. There are these characters who just everybody gravitates to. That everybody loves. And I've never understood it. With My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, it's the likes of Discord and Princess Luna. With Steven Universe, it was Lapis prior to her reformation and everything. I did warm up on Lapis, but like everyone was obsessed with her like back when she was honestly terribly written. Before she became a good character. And various things like that as other examples. There's a lot of examples I could give, let's be honest. But the point is that people tend to gravitate towards these characters and that I've never understood the popularity of. And Kurisu has definitely always been one of them. It's like, again, I don't hate her. I actually do like her. But nowhere near to the level. And I've never agreed with the ship of her and Okabe. Even though it was canon, I never agreed to it. It never made sense to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for Okabe doing so much to try and save her, because I still feel they were amazing friends. But there was no romantic chemistry. I'm sorry, there was no romantic chemistry between them. There was nothing that made me believe that they loved each other. And on the other hand, there was so much constant romantic chemistry between Okabe and Mayuri that it was so obvious they belonged together. And this is the same kind of problem that ReZero had. ReZero, with Subaru being so obsessed with Amelia and just not even bothering to care about reciprocating Rem's feelings for him. Amelia is, again, she's a great character and I do like her, but there's not really enough romantic chemistry to pair them together. And Rem just makes an altogether better relationship with him. There's been a lot more to that in ReZero. I'm sorry, but I'm not. And unlike with Kurisu and Okabe, at least Subaru and Amelia had some romantic chemistry. At least there was something there to work off of. Even though I still think he would have been suited better with Rem, and there was so much evidence to that. But here with Okabe and Kurisu, there's like nothing. And I've never gotten it. Plus, if I'm being completely honest, I don't like tsundere characters as much. And yeah, Kurisu's always been a very standard tsundere. You could say Maho has some tsundere tendencies, but that's kind of the difference. Maho has tsundere tendencies. Kurisu's a tsundere. It's different. Makise Kurisu, she is a tsundere. While Maho isn't one, but she just has some tendencies of one. And that's where the big difference is for me, because I've seen a lot of different characters and a lot of different anime and cartoons and all that have those kind of tendencies. And as long as it's not defining their character, I'm good with it. But when it defines their character and it's pretty much an integral part of who they are, that's where the problem lies, in my opinion. And Kurisu definitely had that. Again, I'm not just trying to knock on Kurisu. But it's just, there's so much evidence for Okabe and Mayuri being a better couple. I'm sorry. So I really like how this series did put a bit of a focus on that, with Mayuri finally admitting her feelings and finally coming to terms with the fact that, yeah, she loves Rintaro Okabe. Not just Howie and Kiyoma, she loves Okabe. She loves him for who he is. And she loves him no matter if he's happy or sad. She wants him to be happy, but she still loves him when he's sad. And it's just, I want more of that. And now the big question is, will things succeed? Will they reach the Steins Gate world line in this series? They did in the original series, but will they here? And I'm being completely honest here. If them reaching the Steins Gate world line means that Okabe and Kurisu will get together, I don't want it to happen. I know it's kind of the big goal and everything, but I would rather see them make it so that everything is fixed in this world line, that the war never starts, but they have to stay in this world line to do so. That this is just an alternate world line, an alternate timeline to the events of the end of the original Steins Gate. I would rather have that, if it means that he can get together with Mayuri instead. I'm sorry, I know that might sound selfish of me, but I'm a shipper. I'll be honest. I'm a shipper, and I will go down with my ship. It's just so obvious they belong together. But either way, Either way, even if it does end with them restoring everything, going to the Steins Gate world line, and Okabe and Kurisu getting together, I'll still be fine with it. I mean, as long as it's still well handled and well written and everything, I'll be fine with it. But yeah, this is like, these were the big episodes. This was like where, let's be honest, the past few episodes, while I did enjoy, very much so, have been a little slower. It's like the series took a little bit of time to just slow down, calm itself down, which was a smart move, because now they got into this big climax, and going into the finale, they have to keep things going, and they have to keep it intense. So having those couple episodes that were slower is smart. So now that they can go into the heavier stuff and make it feel more natural, make it feel like it's more of a something that has been built up to instead of just being thrown at you, you know? So yeah, it's just like, I really want to see what happens, and hopefully it ends out amazingly. Now, like I said, next week, this next Monday is when episode 21 releases in the dub, so I'll probably be able to do both episodes 20 and 21 next week, which means that there will only be 2 episodes left after that. And we'll get to those as we can get to them, of course, as they release. But yeah, we're almost done with this series. And so there has been the question raised up, and I am going to address this now real quick, about what's going to happen next. About, like, what the future is going to bring for this time slot. Because, as I've also mentioned, I'm only doing one reaction series for the fall anime season. I'm only doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Arreo. So the question is like, okay, so what is going to take the spot? I already said that once I finish DuckTales, that's probably going to be replaced with either Dragon Prince or Hilda, whichever I get to first. And Voltron, that's going to wait until after Disenchantment. I'm going to do Disenchantment, then I'm going to do Season 6 of Voltron, and then I'm probably going to do something else in that slot. Because, again, I want to keep things moving along to where there's always something new happening on the channel. So the question is, what would replace Steins Gate 0? Now, you could say, oh, if you replace, let's say you replace DuckTales with Dragon Prince, then you could just replace Steins Gate 0 with Hilda, right? And yeah, I could. Or I could do something else completely. I could replace it with something else that I've wanted to check out. And I could make it an anime slot. Now, here's the thing. The Monday and Friday slots are still going to be the slots for the polls. That's not going to change. Monday will still be the poll for cartoons. Friday will still be the poll for the anime. I mean, granted, on Friday, after Inuyashiki, we already have the next series after that guaranteed, which is going to be KO in Season 2. But we could still do an anime on Wednesday. From the list of stuff I wanted to check out, even from the past couple seasons, there's been a couple anime that I haven't checked out or have only seen like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of and just never really continued for one reason or another. So there is a lot of options. Right now, I don't know. Right now, I just do not know what we're going to do. Because here's the deal. Next week, let's say next Wednesday, because we try to get these out on Wednesday, even though we're late this week. Next Wednesday's the 3rd, so that would be 2021. 22, 23 would be on the 17th of October. Meaning we wouldn't even be starting anything new on Wednesdays until the 24th of October. Which is about 4 weeks from now. Approximately. So we still have about a month to go to figure this out. But I did want to address this now. Let you guys know my thoughts on this. If you had any ideas, maybe. I am thinking, though, I do want to keep it to anime on Wednesday, for now at least. If I am going to replace it. Because the other option would be I just leave Wednesdays open. that would be a valid option too. But I do want to hear your thoughts. If there is any anime specifically you'd like me to check out for Wednesdays that isn't like on the anime poll already, let me know. And especially if it's something from these past couple seasons, maybe. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of different options, I feel. And I don't even remember, you know, like what some of these other ones that I had been kind of like pushing off for a while are. There have been quite a few from these past couple seasons that I like just stopped watching or whatnot for various reasons. And it's like I could very easily get back into them. And I probably, in a lot of cases, should. So it's just, at this point, who knows? There's a lot on my list right now that's on hold. I have 45 different shows that I have listed as on hold that I do plan to get back to in the future. So, yeah, there's a lot of different options, and we're just going to have to see where it goes. I don't know yet. Again, I will try to keep things figured out for the future, and we're just going to kind of have to see. There's a lot of different options on here. I wouldn't even know where to begin right now. Like I said, I'd have to let you know. But in the meantime, tell me what you thought of these episodes of Steins Gate Zero. And once again, if you have any thoughts on what I could react to for Wednesdays, please let me know on that as well. And thank you so much for tuning in. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing.